Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back with another episode of Hearthstone. We have hit the midpoint of Blackrock Mountain now, past the midpoint. We've done 3 weeks, and we have enough gold to pay off everything for Blackrock Mountain. So now our new goal is to try and get as much gold as possible by the end of Blackrock Mountain, so that I might have 3,500 or more. That'd be nice. So let's curate. I'm gonna continue curating for hard things. I'm not gonna get rid of destroy 40 minions. I'm gonna get rid of win 2 games with Druid or Hunter, because frankly this is something we'll get real easily, a lot easier than this. So if I'm gonna make something hard, I might as well make the thing I'm less likely to hard. So, Hunter and Mage. Alright, well, let's start with Paladin and Priest. I have 1,400 gold. That's exactly how much I need for the last 2 weeks. Paladin and Priest is who we're playing as. So that's my Murlocs deck. We have our Paladin up to, I believe, rank 46, level 46, not rank. And it would not surprise me if he will be very close, if not at level 60, by the end of the month of April. I have been able to get some other work done besides Blackrock Mountain, which is some good news. I am also just trying new things, trying to get more videos out there. Keep on working, try to get new viewers.
I will fight
Blackrock
with
Mountain
honor.
itself is going acceptably well. It has, in the 3rd week, right about in the middle, it started getting difficult, whereas the first 2 weeks were pretty easy. And then in the 3rd week, one of the battles required me to rebuild my mage deck in a very strange way.
An error.
Because the hero has a passive ability where everything only costs one mana, but you could only have 1 mana. So pretty much you could only play 1 card ever. Nothing else would trump it. So even if you had something that said spell cards cost -1 mana, it would still cost 1 mana. And so what I had to do is build a deck with just all these legendary, very powerful things that would usually cost 10 mana and summon those each time to compete against his deck, which was totally full of the same thing. So that's not terrible, but then I had to go back and rebuild my mage deck, and I did it off screen because I just basically put my mage deck back the way it was before. We will do deck rebuilds after all of Blackrock Mountain is complete. That is at the point where I'll have all the cards unlocked and start doing the deck rebuilds. But right now my only goal is getting gold. I want to have 3,500. That 3,600 would be great, because then or thereabout, then I would be really well set for the next expansion, which I imagine the next expansion will come out in about 6 months, if I was to just randomly guess. And so I'll have all that gold ready from now, and then any extra gold I can get can start being used for arena runs. And if I got 150 ready for my next arena run, and then I have a couple hundred extra, I might start just buying packs left and right. Actually, speaking of buying packs, because I played Hearthstone on my phone and got a free pack and opened it in my announcement about the cell phone versions being released, I got a legendary gold card, which means at the end of this episode, assuming I remember, we are going to convert a legendary gold card and get a massive amount of dust. More dust than we've ever seen before.
Reporting for duty.
I think I'm gonna have to make an executive decision here, though. I think we're gonna play Paladin all today. My Murloc deck wins a lot, and if we could get 5 wins in a row, not only would this be an awesome episode, but it would be a very efficient episode. I am eternally pressed for time, but in this month, even more pressed for time. Lots and lots of offline play going on. The people who have decided to follow me and have been spectating me on and off can attest to a lot of it.
Sorry that happened.
This is by far way more Hearthstone I've ever played. It's way more Hearthstone than I wish to play, really. I would very much rather be working on some other series and trying some other things. But I suppose this is what the game demands of me. On top of having the 3,500 gold, I would like to just have $26 extra. It would have been so much easier and so much more intelligent to just have bought the expansion instead of spending well over 60 hours now playing the game to earn this gold. It's not an efficient use of time. As my channel grows, as we get more ad revenue, if this new subscription service that YouTube is going to come out with helps with that, things like playing an entire Hearthstone for an entire month for a ridiculously small amount of money are going to go out the window. It's going to become, I'm going to spend $26 on a game I might only do a spotlight on for an hour. It's going to become things like that. And that's not to say that I'm looking forward to being wasteful. It's just I'm looking forward to covering more games. New games are coming out all the time on Steam. That doesn't mean that they're all worthy of me reviewing them, but I would like to review some of them. I'd love to be doing Darkest Dungeon right now. I would have liked to had time to do Titan Souls, and Titan Souls is a short game from what I hear, so that would have been another series I would have liked to do, but I didn't have time, so I just did the demo. I am very thankful that they came out with a demo. Any game with a demo, put a comment or send me a message. If you know a game has a free demo, let me do a spotlight on it, and then I can at least talk about why or why not I would want to play that, or am going to play it, or wouldn't play it. We don't get demos anywhere as much as we should these days. He's lost, and he doesn't even know it. Here we go.
I don't have enough mana. Soldiers of the cold dark. To battle! Obey the to battle!
Well played.
To battle! To battle!
That took a little longer than I had hoped. Sorry I got quiet there for a second, but took a little longer than I had hoped to win that game. But it won. And so that's 6 of the 40 minions dead, and we have one victory of the 5 we need. So we're just gonna keep on playing our Murlocs, all Murlocs today. I look forward to having the Paladin max level, and then I can put the Murloc deck on some other player. I look forward to getting it getting easier and easier and more likely to max level things. Although I'm not really going to be grinding the other characters that much. Hearthstone is not my primary interest game, I would say. I just want to play it enough for the quests, and that's it. And I suppose if I was pulling in a lot of income, it might eventually even get to the point where it's not worth the effort to even play the quests when I could just have all the cards or already have all the cards. Yeah, this series will probably have to end if I have every single card unlocked, two copies of it, and on top of that, I have tons of gold, because then there would just be no reason. But that's a far, far way off. And with the expansions, it's something that may very possibly never happen. Alright, I just want to end my turn right now. Next turn I want to bring out this. You really gonna do that? You really gonna kill your guy just to kill all my guys? Interesting choice there. I can't say I agree with it. Let's see, let's put this guy out, put this guy out.
Weapon ready.
Reporting for duty.
Start attacking the base. Have I mentioned that I did a short spotlight of a Minecraft map called, based on PT Silent Hills, the playable trailer, and all that? I don't know if I mentioned it in this video or not, but I did, and it was pretty cool, so I'll mention it again, say everybody should go watch that. That was
Weapon ready.
pretty cool to do a horror thing and try and do it in vanilla Minecraft. It doesn't quite work for the horror aspect, and I would, if I was equipped to have a PS4 and a device that could record a PS4's output, I would certainly want to go download PT and do a series on it. Of course, I'm not going to be the best person to do any of these horror games because they're just not going to scare me. Very, very unlikely. That is one thing that I can never quite understand people about when they say that they just can't watch horror movies, that they get too scared or get too anxious. It's just something that I don't relate to at all, because I have such a firm in my mind division between what is fiction and what is reality, that horror movies never cross that barrier. I never for even a second think, oh, this might be real or this might actually happen. So they can't ever pull me in enough to scare me. But I do love to watch horror movies because I think they're funny mostly. Usually they're so awfully made that it's a fun time to watch them. And a lot of those old horror movies were specifically written to be comedical and somewhat scary.
Reporting for duty.
But I guess that's just kind of a constant thing with me and most people, is that we are always on a different page. I mean, there's just like a long list of things that I'm enthusiastic about or interested in that most people don't understand. They don't know anything about it. They're not interested in learning anything about it.
Reporting for duty.
I often feel people are have
Job's done.
very undiverse lifestyles compared to me. They haven't seen anywhere as many movies, read as many or heard as many stories. So I guess that's a long way to say I'm a nerd. But I guess I'm a nerd. But even in the nerddom, that is getting stripped away from. If there was a time in the past when I could really relate with nerds, that is getting taken away too, because it has become very fashionable for somebody who likes, say, the reboot of Doctor Who to call themselves a Doctor Who nerd. And I use this example particularly because I'm not even really a fan of Doctor Who. So anybody who's a fan of the reboot of Doctor Who and calls themselves a Doctor Who, that's really a slap in the face to any of the people who have been watching Doctor Who since it first came out, and they've gone back and watched all the black and white ones and stuff like that. You're not a nerd. Maybe it's just a power creep, and we need to start calling people super nerds, and maybe that's what I need to say is, I'm a super nerd, you're just a regular nerd. Because it gets that way. It's like people are a fan of one thing and they think they're a nerd, or one small fraction of a thing, and they think they're a nerd. If you read one book and you love it, are you a book nerd? No. There's thousands and thousands of books. If you watch one movie and you really love it, are you a movie nerd? No. I've read just a relatively tiny amount of comic books, not for a second when I call myself a comic book nerd, because there's just decades and decades and decades of history, whether it has been retconned or not, that was there that I did not experience. And definitely I wouldn't call myself a comic book nerd if I just liked like the Marvel movies.
Reporting for duty.
You have to then specialize yourself and say you're a Marvel movie nerd if you were going to say it that way. Or people say they're a computer nerd and all they do is browse the internet or play games on it. Or they say they're a video game nerd, and that gets to the heart of it, really. How many people call themselves like hardcore gamers and all they do is play Call of Duty, and that's it.
The battle.
Oh man, missed an attack. That was dumb. Deserves an oops.
That was a mistake. Where shall I strike?
But how many video game players call themselves hardcore gamers who only play first-person shooters? Even if they play the new version of Call of Duty or Halo, or they do them all, are you really a video game nerd? I think you have to go through at least a couple of in my opinion, you have to go through at least a couple of genres if you like video games. I would play any video game for this channel. Now the length I would play that video game is gonna vary based on my likes or dislike of it, but if somebody wanted me to go play Sesame Street game for newborns, I would do it, and I would do my very best to review it. Would I be that good at it? Possibly not, but I would do it. If somebody wanted me to do extremely hardcore Call of Duty type first-person shooter games I don't really enjoy playing, I would do it. And I do enjoy Borderlands, so I do enjoy some of them. It's just I don't enjoy the very vanilla ones in my mind. At least that's how I think of them as. If somebody wanted me to do a really mature, like XXX rated game, I couldn't do it on YouTube. I would do it, but then it would require me to do so much censorship on it that it wouldn't be worth watching. Actually, there is one on Steam that caught my eye, and I thought that looks pretty funny, and it's like a match gym game dating simulation combined called Honey Pop or something. And I saw that and I was like, you know what, that looks like that might be a funny video series, but no way I could put it on YouTube. I'd have to do too much censoring for the actual sex scenes in it. And same as for God of War. If I was to play the God of War series, I would do it, but I would have to carefully edit out all the things that violate community standards of YouTube. YouTube in general is always trying to get the it's always trying to catch the attention of younger audiences, so they don't particularly cater themselves or focus or even allow mature adult things. And I understand that we don't want YouTube to become just a porn hub, which it could easily be forced into doing. Ooh, is that game 2? Is that game 3? I think this is game 2. Lost rank 46, working our way to 47. But I would do any type of game. Now there are certainly reasons why I don't do certain types of games. Certain types of games are not interesting. There are jigsaw puzzle games that I could do, and I would just be doing a jigsaw puzzle on and putting out videos. Is that really something that's going to be interesting enough that people would want to watch that? I don't think so. Although, if I was going to stop doing Hearthstone for some reason, a jigsaw puzzle game might be a series to talk on, like I'm talking now. But yeah, there is slot machine games where you just sit there and roll the slots. Is that going to be that interesting? I would love to do poker, but is that going to be really interesting? When you start doing something like poker, I better have an editor. I better have somebody who can take potentially 4 hours of video and cut it down into 20 minutes, because that's what's required. That's the only reason that poker ever became interesting on TV, is that they started editing it heavily and putting cameras on all the cards and showing what was in everybody's hands and everything. Back before they started doing all of that stuff, showing what the cards were that were about to be revealed, to showing what was in everybody's hands and such, all of that really made it more interesting. But yeah, I'd love to do poker. It's just, do I think that's gonna be a good series? This is the equivalent of poker, except for we're really only playing 5 hands of it in a tournament style. And one game of Hearthstone is about as long as a turn of poker might go. But you get way more graphics and way more stuff. It's kind of like battle chess, if anybody remembers that, which I would love to see a new version of that come out. Let's see. Adding the graphical and audio stuff in battle chess made it very interesting to me when it came out, versus regular chess where it was just back in the day. Now battle chess was like a DOS game too, so the old other DOS versions of chess were just, here is a 2-dimensional top-down picture of a chessboard, play. I heard of a story that they suspect one of the professional chess players was cheating because he went to the bathroom several times, and then they checked the bathroom and there was a cell phone in there with like a chess app. Just downright cheating in chess, man. How the mighty have fallen. Then they've got this weird chess game. It's like chess boxing. So you play for 2 minutes of speed chess, and then you box for 2 rounds of boxing. And if you knock out the person or checkmate the person, you win. So it's just, I'm gonna beat you in the brain until you're concussed, and maybe I'll checkmate you, but maybe I won't. Either way, I'm gonna win.
Justice.
It is the most... It is a very strange combination of extremes of just highly intellectual and highly non-intellectual, I would say, boxing. Speaking of boxing, as I continue on this tangent, I saw another story that said that boxing actually got more brutal when they added gloves. That when you were bare knuckle boxing, it would cause so much more superficial damage that people would give up or knock out way faster. And now that you're getting the cushioning of the glove, people go further and further and longer, and thus more internal brain injury happens and such. Yeah, they all need to just go to robot boxing anyways. That's my favorite. I actually liked the Virtual Boys had a game called Telero Boxing that was pretty cool. You were in a robot fighting other robots boxing, and it was pretty fast-paced and cool. I kind of like the Virtual Boy, even though the redness of it was just a nightmare. If they had come out with that same thing and it was in color, I think it would have actually succeeded. But they just couldn't get the technology to do it, and they still haven't been able to really get the technology to do that.
Greetings.
Not in any form that's recognizable. Maybe some of these, I think maybe one of these new virtual reality headsets actually does use lasers to project the image on your eyes, and I think that's kind of how the Virtual Boy worked. But yeah, that was really more of a technological experiment than it was something that would have ever succeeded. And why they put it out, I think, was just to get rid of stock. Somebody made a mistake there. It's kind of like if Google was inventing some. Well, Google did do that with their Google Glass stuff. Same thing. Google Glass, probably a great invention mechanically, but a terrible invention as far as actually trying to sell it to people and use it in the real world. Far too expensive. If the Virtual Boy had come out and been, I think it was pretty expensive anyways, but at first, and then it got very cheap. Real fast.
Shields up. Red alert.
I'm just gonna end my turn now. But yeah, I don't really hate the Virtual Boy. I understand why everybody else did, and I bought one. I had one. I played one for a long time. I had of the games I could get, I think there was only about 12 that were ever available, and I had at least 9 of them. Part of the problem was that it was trying to be portable. Being ending in boy was intentional because it was supposed to be a portable version of the system. Oh, this is not gonna work well. I don't know what to do here. I'm waiting for the owl, basically. That's my only hope. Something to kill this guy with this 16 health. Well, that sucked.
Get down!
And now I get old Murkai. He would have been so useful just a few seconds ago.
Weapons ready.
I've got so many games I want to record. So many games. And here I hear The Witcher 3 is about to come out, which maybe I can justify in my head getting that. If I can build this new computer I need fast enough, I may get The Witcher 3 for free with the purchase of a high-end graphics card. I'm thinking I'm gonna get probably a 970. I'd like to get a 980 GTX type video card. Just really, it's a price issue. Definitely want to get something that's DirectX 12. Definitely want to get something that is 4 gigabytes of DDR4 or 5 RAM. If I can afford the 5, that'd be great.
Let's move quickly.
I'm gonna play this game out, but I don't think I'm gonna win.
Reporting for duty.
Weapons ready. Shield sailing.
Even if I get the owl now, I don't have any ability to stop this. I gotta take this guy out. My Murloc deck has failed me. This is the way to defeat a Murloc deck. Have really powerful top guys. Where's he gonna go?
justice.
Let's just keep on trying.
Reporting for duty.
I have thought of something that I want to try, but I'll probably only do this offline because it's sneaky and it's dishonest. What I want to do is, if I'm about to lose and it's close, or if it's not even close, it actually doesn't matter if it's close or not. If I'm about to lose, when it becomes my turn, I should just go well played, because that usually indicates you're about to defeat them, and just sit there for as long as possible and see if I can trick them into conceit, even though I have no justice. Now this is not something I think is going to work very often, but I think one out of every 100 games it might actually trick people into conceding. If you have cards, if you can make it seem like, oh, he's about to do something really awesome. But of course they can take the well played as just a congratulation. Huh. This would help. This is not a card I'd actually put in my deck. Having him as Ragnaros the Fire Lord doesn't help anything. So, about to lose. So, since I'm about to lose, I'd go well played. And if I had a card, I could probably try and trick him, but since I don't have any cards, he knows he's gonna win. If this one died, his health would go down to 8, which...
My shield for Argus!
Okay. That would help, but it wouldn't do anything really that great. So that's another loss. That's game 4. We're gonna go to game 5. We've almost gotten half of the minions done. That's good news. Oh, so much to do, so much to do. I don't know if I've given the specs on the computer I'd like to build. Simply,
I will fight
everything's in flux. First of all, it's all kind of a matter of price. But I want a 8 GB cache i7 processor, Intel i7 processor. Now I would take an 8 MB cache i5, but to my knowledge, the thing does not exist. You can't get that much cache, L3 cache, on an i5 processor. And what that is, if you don't know what cache is, which I assume most people wouldn't know, is kind of a internal RAM in the processor that is a lot faster than the RAM you put in your motherboard. And so instead of having to take the first 8 MB of a process and put it in slower RAM, which computer RAM is moderately slow. It's kind of in the middle. Video graphics RAM is faster, and the L3 cache is even faster. So that's kind of how it stacks up. And of course the i7 is going to be at least 4 cores. Do I need 6 cores or 8 cores? I don't really think so. It's not like every single game that comes out is well programmed to use multiple cores. In fact, the truth is it's very much the opposite of that. Most games are not programmed well to use the cores at all. So more cores does help a little bit when editing video. It does help if I want to set like 1 core to record the video and 1 core and 3 other cores to play the game. So you can dedicate something that way. I'm not sure if you really would want to do that or just let Windows handle it automatically. So there are definitely reasons why you would want such more cores. But the price increase is very high when you go for things like that. I want to put
made to fit.
at least 16, but probably 32. I don't think you can get 64 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. Right now, last computer I built was DDR3, so moving up to DDR4 at the faster speed is the step in the right direction. So I'll probably get some 32, because I'm not sure they're gonna really even sell 16. Now that is a lot of RAM. Again, very helpful when you're recording and playing a game. You want that game to have enough. So I'm building a computer that's basically twice as powerful as would be required to play a game. If I can afford it, definitely. And then I want a GTX 980 video card with 4 gigabytes of RAM, and I think they have like 4 cores in their video things. It's pretty much the top of the line that you can realistically spend on a video card. They range between $300, maybe if you get lucky and cheap out, you can get one for even $150 to $550 for one video card. And then if you really want to go crazy, you can spend $1,000 for the Titan X, and that's not realistic. It's not realistic to buy a $1,000 video card. It's much smarter to buy a 980 and then buy a second 980 and put them in SLI mode later. Spread those purchases out. And that's about it. Onboard audio, as far as I'm concerned. I need to buy a microphone and a mic stand and a pop filter. So that kind of goes with the new computer, but they certainly don't have to, those things don't have to be purchased right then and there. I need to definitely get a power supply that is big enough to power all that equipment. And I personally don't need a computer case because I have cases lying around. I can reuse one of my old cases just fine. I thought about going with liquid cooling and thought against it because it's just not something I ever want to have to mess with, is that the liquid and the liquid cooling leaked. And eventually I think it would leak. I just think it would. So I don't want to go with water cooling, even though I like the concept. I would love to, in theory, I'd love to get a closed water cooling system on the processor and the video card, and then have a computer that doesn't make that much sound. But
reporting for duty.
I'm willing to risk it and just get a regular fan, variable speed fans. It's real hard to argue to get away from the default fan for the CPU that comes with the CPU. I'm not planning on overclocking it or anything like that. I just want it to get its best speed at a good noise level because of the situation we're doing here. And I only want to get one 980 at the beginning at least. If I'm rolling in money and really do feel like another 980 would help, I might consider getting one, but I'd have to really think about it. Doing SLI, spending that much money doesn't feel. I'd much rather take the cash from a second 980 and just have it in the Steam wallet, as it were, ready to buy new games, ready to cover new games. I've become more and more news-like in my recordings of games and announcements and things, because that is exactly where the views seem to be. And that is partially Well, not partially. That's 100% why. I released this week's of Black Hawk Mountain. I just released all 5 videos as soon as possible. Instead of spacing them out one weekday through the week, I just released them all, and that's what I'm going to continue to do because it has already shown that that has gotten way more views. People get stuck on a boss, they immediately go look for the bosses, for the solution to the boss, and if they have to wait 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 days, plus the weekend, so 6 or 7 days, that's too long for them, and they won't see my video, they'll see somebody else first. So, for any things like that, we're going to just start doing. Was that 5 games? Well, I'm going to call that 5 games even if it was only 4. But we will do something here in the collection because I remembered that, and then we'll wrap up. So, when we come over here to, let's see, warrior, is it? No, shaman, perhaps? Where is it? Where did it go? Can't be all the way over here. Let's see. Let's just do this. Show only golden cards. And that will help us find it. We're looking for this golden card that we got. We got lucky with a legendary gold version. Here it is. It is Shaman. And we can already make the Wind Fury. So we have Doomhammer, the Wind Fury and Overload of 2. Definitely want a Doomhammer. It costs 100 gold to craft it. 100 dust. We're doing with dust. And it's going to give us 400 dust. So obviously, we disenchant it. We were going to disenchant it anyways, because it's a gold version, and we're trying to get rid of all the gold versions until we have all of the regular versions. So 400 dust, 440 dust, great. We could undo that if we wanted to, but no, we don't want to. And so first things we do is craft it for 400 dust. Oh man, that didn't work. That didn't work at all. It gave us 400 dust and we crafted one for 400 dust. Interesting. I am confused. I did not realize it worked that way. Whatever. Well, we've got 40 dust. Let's go ahead and craft this. Do we want to? Are we gonna break the rules and start doing goblins versus gnomes? Instead of doing regular ones? I think we kinda have to. At this point, we have to be able to just craft whatever we can craft. If we've got 40 dust, let's do it. Let's see, which one is it? Shaman. Let's do it. Let's craft it. We want to just get cards. As many cards as possible. I'm throwing all logic to the wind. So that was not as cool as I had hoped. Let's see. That just didn't make any sense. Here's Doom. That's Power Mace. I don't understand their system. Obviously, I don't understand their system. Yeah, that made no sense at all. Let's see. I have 30 of 30 here. What was that? Let's see. Hunter, no. Warrior. It's not the warrior either. Well, it seems like it fixed whatever we moved. Well, that's what you really probably shouldn't do, but I'm going to continue doing it just to get rid of the gold versions. I thought we would get more dust than just enough dust to replace it with the same thing. And I guess if we had 2 of the Doomhammer already and we get another one, that would be true, but since we didn't, it seems not to matter. So I would highly recommend anybody, if you love gold back cards, don't trade them off for dust unless you just don't gonna use those cards. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. Thank you for watching. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps me out. If you want to support me further through fan funding, which would be greatly appreciated, click on my name, Rydo. On the right is a blue button that says support this channel. If you want to follow me on Twitter or Google+, or friend me on Steam or Battle.net, all that information is down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.